Hello and welcome to another video with me, Tensi, talking geeky stuff. And today's video is about, oh, you probably guessed it, Sega versus Nintendo, or Super Nintendo versus Mega Drive. If you're old enough to remember, back in the 90s, early 90s, there was only two gaming companies back then, really. Nintendo and Sega. I mean, they had a previous console then, the Nintendo system, Entertainment System, and Sega Master System. But it really got heated up in the early 90s. And I remember there was advertisements, you know, one outdoing the other sort of thing. If my memory serves me correctly, Mega Drive came out a little bit earlier. In America, if you're from America, Mega Drive is called Genesis, and in the UK it's called Mega Drive. And of course, in Super Nintendo, it has share the same name around the world, except for Japan, which is called Super Famicom. But the UK version, which is this one, it has the same design as the Japanese. The American one had that. No, I didn't really think it was that good with the purple buttons and so on. But the thing is, I did have the American version because I had all the American, Japanese, and UK Super Nintendo. I had the UK first, but of course, during that time, UK region was PAL, and the rest of the world, like America and Japan, were NTSC SCART sockets, which gave it clearer screen, faster as well. So of course, later on I imported the American unit, and then of course later on I realized you can actually unclip a couple of things in the console and you can actually fit in Japanese games because they're running the same speed. Mega Drive, I had of course the Mega Drive, and I think later on when they released the Mega Drive Mini, that was pretty cool. Yeah, so back then in schools you had kids, and I was a teenager then. I mean, I was a young teenager of course, and one of my best friends, he's a Sega fan. I mean, he likes Nintendo of course, but he's more Sega, and back then he was ahead of me, always a little bit ahead of me. He had the Mega Drive first, he had the Master System. I don't think he ever had an entertainment system, Nintendo Entertainment System. He did have a Super Nintendo, but he was always a Mega Drive fan or Sega fan. I like Mega Drive, of course. I mean, just like my friend, he was a Mega Drive fan, but he still liked Nintendo. But where I'm like the opposite, where I'm a Nintendo fan, but I like Mega Drive as well. And we used to get into little debates here and there and so on and so forth. But there's one thing we both agreed on was Super Nintendo had better graphics and sound. Mega Drive was faster. That's why you get a lot of games like Sonic, Gunstar Heroes, and so on and so on, because he had a slightly faster chip. But as in saying that though, later on in Super Nintendo's life, they had FX chips and so on, didn't they? So they increased the graphics. They had Mode 7, so great for racing games like Mario Kart and so on. Mega Drive never really had that. Speaking about games, of course you had Mario versus Sonic. It was a pretty big debate back in school then. These are some of the games I highlight that I used to love on both sides. I mean, when I got the Super Nintendo UK version, it came bundled with the Super Mario World. No matter what anyone says, that is still the greatest 2D platform game of all time. Sonic Hedgehog was good. I mean, to be honest, I actually prefer Sonic Hedgehog 2 with Tails in it. 1 was still great though. Super Mario RPG, Links to the Past, and of course Super Mario Kart, which spawned his own franchise. I mean, the reason why I still think Nintendo was a little bit better, because overall the game was just always a slight better. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I love Streets of Rage 1, 2, Golden Axes, of course, Gunstar Heroes were great and all that. Alter Beast was classic back then, but you can finish those in a few hours. They were arcade games basically, right? But with Nintendo, you had Super Mario World, which, I mean, Sonic, you can complete that in a few hours, but Super Mario World took you a bit longer. Of course, you got Mario RPG, of course. Super Nintendo back then was the king of RPGs as well. You had all the Final Fantasies and Secret of Mana and all of that stuff. Then you got action RPGs like Legend of Zelda, of course. You got other platforms like Donkey Kong Country. I remember when Donkey Kong Country first came out, I think he used one of the FX chips. He was using silicon graphics or something like that. It was revolutionary at the time. And as much as Gunstar Hero was great, it was still a little bit behind Super Metroid. You had platforming-wise, I think Nintendo just edges it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sega has some good games. I loved Sega games, but they're always just a little bit lower than Nintendo. With Nintendo games where you can really, immerse yourself. You can spend ages on them, weeks on end, sort of thing, right? But with Sega games, it was a great game, but I usually just use them for kind of quick plays, half hour here, an hour there, and I can put it down. But with, like, for example, you pick up Link to the Past that time. You can't just pick it up for half hour. You end up playing 3 hours, for example, and so on. But which side was you on? I mean, me and my friend always had good friendly debates, of course. I know, like I said, I'm a big fan of both, but of course, the Nintendo team just edges it, I think. And then I remember in school that time, you had a lot of sometimes it got a bit rowdy, kids were really swearing at each other, saying this is better, that is better, and so on and so forth. So I miss those days because the rivalry was fun. I found it pretty fun. I mean, compared to the rivalry today, it's a little bit different, I would say. It's a little bit different. Anyway, as in saying that, you can actually relive the 16-bit era with 2 amazing consoles, the Super Nintendo Mini, Mega Drive Mini. Mega Drive Mini was actually really good. I did like it. 40 games I got on both. I mean, you beat the Sony one, right? Sony PlayStation Mini, that was terrible. Of course, everybody's eagerly waiting Nintendo 64 Mini. Let's see how that happens. But definitely get your hands on either one of these to play some 16-bit games again. Classic fun. They both come with 2 controllers. And yeah, definitely get them there. I recommend them. I got them both. And just bring back some classic memories. So let me know which side you was on. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Mega Drive. Let me know which side you're on. And yeah, if you like, please give this video a like if you like this, and please considering subscribing to this channel if you want to hear me talk more geeky stuff. And thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And please stay safe. I'll catch you all soon again. Goodbye.